Amsterdam owes its name to a dam built on the Amstel River in the 13th century, which originally gave rise to the name Amstelredam, meaning a dam on the Amstel River. Over time, this name evolved and was simplified into Amsterdam, combining the name of the river with the flood control structure that enabled a small fishing settlement to gradually develop into a major trading and port city. Andorra La Vella owes its name to the historical name Andorra, whose origins are uncertain and often linked to pre-Roman or Arabic terms describing the region, combined with the Catalan phrase La Vella, meaning the old. This addition distinguishes the oldest settlement in the valley, highlighting its role as the original administrative center and its development into the capital of the Pyrenean microstate. Athens owes its name to the ancient Greek goddess Athena, who was considered the city's patron and protector. According to mythology, she won the city's favor by offering the olive tree, a symbol of peace and prosperity. The ancient name Athenai reflects the city's deep religious roots and its lasting role as a center of culture, philosophy, and learning. Belgrade owes its name to the Slavic term Beograd, meaning white city, likely referring to the light-colored stone of its early fortifications or its striking appearance above the rivers. First mentioned in medieval sources, the name reflects the city's strategic position at the confluence of the Sava and Danube, which shaped its long and complex history. Berlin owes its name most likely to a Slavic word burl or burl, meaning swamp or marsh, referring to the wetland areas on which the city was founded. First mentioned in the 13th century, the name reflects the local landscape rather than the bear symbol, later associated with the city, which developed as a major political and cultural center of Europe. Bern owes its name either to the Celtic word berna, meaning cleft or gap, referring to the city's position along a bend of the Aire River, or to a medieval legend linking it to the German word bear. First mentioned in the 12th century, the name reflects both the city's geographic setting and its enduring symbolic identity. Bratislava owes its name to the 10th century ruler Bretislav I, with the original form Breslausburg, meaning Bretislav's castle. Over time, the name evolved into Bratislava, reflecting both its early medieval significance as a fortified settlement and its role as a political and cultural center along the Danube River. Brussels owes its name to the Old Dutch Broekcelle, meaning marsh home or home in the swamp, referring to the wetlands where the city was founded. First mentioned in the 10th century, the name reflects the city's geographic origins, which over time developed into a major political, economic, and cultural center of Belgium and Europe. Bucharest owes its name to the legendary shepherd Bucur, whose name is thought to mean joy or happiness in Romanian. First mentioned in the 15th century, the name reflects the city's early origins as a small settlement, which gradually grew into the political, cultural, and economic capital of Romania. Budapest owes its name to the union of two cities, Buda and Pest, on opposite banks of the Danube River. First officially combined in 1873, the name reflects both the geographic and cultural merger, highlighting the city's growth into Hungary's political, economic, and cultural center. Chisinau owes its name to the small river beak, or Cisla, with the suffix no meaning new in Romanian, roughly translating to new place on the beak. First mentioned in the 15th century, the name reflects the city's beginnings as a small settlement that evolved into the capital of Moldova. Copenhagen owes its name to the Old Danish Købmandshavn, meaning merchant's harbor, referring to its origins as a trading port. First recorded in the 12th century, the name reflects the city's maritime and commercial significance, which laid the foundation for its development as Denmark's capital. Dublin owes its name to the Irish Dublin, meaning black pool, referring to a dark tidal pool where the river Poddle met the Liffey. First mentioned in medieval records, the name reflects the city's origins as a Viking settlement and its evolution into Ireland's principal political and cultural center. Helsinki owes its name to the Swedish Helsingfors, with Helsing referring to the people of Helsingland and Fors, meaning rapids, linked to the nearby river rapids. First mentioned in the 16th century, the name reflects its origins as a small trading town that later became Finland's capital. Kyiv owes its name to the legendary founder Kyi, one of three brothers and a sister according to local chronicles. First mentioned in the 5th to 6th century, the name reflects both the city's early Slavic origins and its long-standing role as a political and cultural center in the region that became modern Ukraine. Lisbon owes its name to the Phoenician Alice Ubbo, meaning safe harbor, reflecting its position on the Tagus River estuary. Over centuries, the name evolved into Lisboa in Portuguese. First settled in ancient times, the name highlights the city's maritime importance and development as Portugal's capital. capital. Ljubljana owes its name possibly to the Slavic word Ljubljana, meaning beloved, or to the river Ljubljanica. First recorded in the 12th century, the name reflects both the city's natural setting and its emergence as a cultural and administrative center in present-day Slovenia. London owes its name to the ancient Roman settlement Londinium, which may derive from a pre-Roman word meaning wild or bold. First established in the 1st century AD, the name reflects the city's long history as a strategic and commercial hub, eventually becoming the capital of England and the United Kingdom. Luxembourg City owes its name to the Old High German Luseilenburg, meaning little fortress, referring to the fortified stronghold built on the Bach rock. First mentioned in the 10th century, the name reflects the city's strategic military origins and its development into the capital of Luxembourg. Madrid owes its name to the Arabic Megharet, meaning place of many streams, referring to the small rivers that cross the area. First mentioned in the 9th century, the name reflects the city's origins as a Moorish fortress and its later growth into the political and cultural capital of Spain. Minsk owes its name to the Minsk River, on whose banks the city was founded. The name may derive from the Old Slavic word mina, meaning barter or trade, reflecting its early role as a trading settlement that gradually developed into the capital of Belarus. Monaco owes its name to the ancient Greek monakos, meaning single house, linked to the legend of Hercules who rested there. First settled in antiquity, the name reflects both the city-state's long history and its development into a fortified and sovereign principality. Moscow owes its name to the Moskva River, on whose banks the city was established. First mentioned in the 12th century, the name reflects the city's geographic origins and its evolution into the political, cultural, and economic heart of Russia. Oslo owes its name to the Old Norse Aslo, or Aslo, meaning meadow beneath the ridge, or meadow of the gods. First mentioned in the early 11th century, the name reflects the city's natural setting and its growth into the capital and cultural center of Norway. Paris owes its name to the ancient Gallic tribe Parisi, who settled on the Ile de la Cité. First recorded by Roman sources as Lutetia Parisiorum, the name reflects the city's early tribal origins and its later development into France's political, cultural, and artistic capital. Podgorica owes its name to the Slavic words pod, under, and Gorica, small hill, meaning under the little hill. First mentioned in medieval records, the name reflects the city's geographic location and its evolution from a small settlement into the modern capital of Montenegro. Prague owes its name to the Slavic word pra, meaning ford or threshold, possibly referring to the crossing points of the Vltava River. First mentioned in the 9th century, the name reflects the city's strategic location and its development into the historic political and cultural center of Bohemia. Pristina owes its name possibly to the Latin Pristinum or the Albanian Pristina, though its exact origin is debated. First recorded in medieval documents, the name reflects the city's early settlement and its emergence as the political and cultural capital of Kosovo. Reykjavik owes its name to the Old Norse words Reykja and Vik, meaning smoky bay, a reference to the steam rising from hot springs in the area. First settled by Norsemen in the 9th century, the name reflects its volcanic landscape and its growth into the capital of Iceland. Riga owes its name to the Livonian word ringa, meaning loop or bend, referring to the curves of the Daugava River near which the city was founded. First mentioned in the early 13th century, the name reflects its strategic location as a trading hub on the Baltic coast. Rome owes its name to the legendary founder Romulus, who, according to tradition, established the city in 753 BC. First recorded in ancient sources as Roma, the name reflects both myth and early settlement, marking the beginning of Rome's development into the capital of the Roman Empire. San Marino owes its name to Saint Marinus, a Christian stonemason who founded a small monastic community on Mount Titano in 301 AD. The name reflects the city-state's religious origins and its enduring status as the world's oldest surviving republic. Sarajevo owes its name to the Turkish Saray Ovası, meaning palace plains, referring to the Ottoman administration and settlements in the area. First mentioned in the 15th century, the name reflects the city's Ottoman heritage and its development into the political and cultural capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Skopje owes its name to the ancient Roman settlement Skopje, which later evolved through Slavic influence into Skopje. First recorded in medieval sources, the name reflects the city's long history as a regional center and its development into the capital of North Macedonia. Sofia owes its name to the church of Hagia Sophia, meaning holy wisdom, which became a central landmark of the city. First mentioned in medieval sources, the name reflects both its religious heritage and its development into the political and cultural capital of Bulgaria. Stockholm owes its name to the Swedish words stock and holm, meaning log islet, referring to the wooden fortifications on the islands where the city was founded. First mentioned in the 13th century, the name reflects its origins as a defensive and trading center that grew into Sweden's capital. Tallin owes its name possibly to the Estonian Estonian Tallin, meaning Danish town, reflecting the period of Danish rule in the 13th century. First recorded in medieval sources, the name reflects the city's early strategic importance as a port on the Gulf of Finland. Tirana owes its name possibly to the Ottoman Turkish Tiran, meaning fortified place, though its exact origin is debated. First mentioned in the 15th century, the name reflects its early settlement and its later growth into the political, economic, and cultural capital of Albania. Vaduz owes its name to the Alemannic word fadosis, or fado, meaning ford or shallow river crossing, referring to the nearby Rhine tributaries. First mentioned in the 12th century, the name reflects its geographic origins and its development into the administrative center and capital of Liechtenstein. Valletta owes its name to Jean Parisot de Valette, the Grand Master of the Knights of St. John, who oversaw the city's construction after the Great Siege of 1565. The name reflects both its founder's legacy and its development into the fortified capital of Malta. Vienna owes its name to the Roman settlement Vindobona, possibly meaning white base or fair settlement. First mentioned in the 1st century AD, the name reflects its early strategic location on the Danube and its evolution into Austria's political and cultural capital. Vilnius owes its name to the Vilnia River, with the suffix eus denoting settlement. First mentioned in the 14th century, the name reflects the city's geographic origins and its growth into the historic, political, and cultural center of Lithuania. Warsaw owes its name to the legendary figure Wars, a fisherman, and his wife Sawa, though it may also derive from the Old Polish name Wars. First mentioned in the 13th century, the name reflects its early settlements on the Vistula River and its rise as Poland's capital. Zagreb owes its name possibly to the Old Croatian verb zagrebiti, meaning to scoop or to dig, referring to the water-filled terrain where the city was founded. First mentioned in the 11th century, the name reflects the city's early settlement and its development into Croatia's political and cultural capital. Thank you for watching, subscribe our channel, and check out our other videos.